All right, now we're gonna try this. It's like I'm being tortured. Hey everyone, I'm Dave, and today we're making the world's best chicken and dumplings. I hope, maybe, I don't know. Come along for the journey at least. We're gonna try, and we're gonna see how it goes. I've never made chicken and dumplings, but we're gonna use Google, and Google usually helps, right? So if you're not a pro cook, definitely stick around. If you are a pro cook, stick around to make fun of me. If you're not a pro cook, stick around, maybe we can, muscle through this together. So as always on this show, we look up the world's best recipes on Google, and whatever the first result is that Google gives us as the #1 recipe, we try to cook it. And so we're gonna look up the world's best chicken and dumplings right now. I think this came through as a comment suggestion at some point, and I decided to try it. So it looks like our #1 recipe is from tasty.com, 4.9 star rating with 4,700 reviews. So that's pretty good. It says it only takes 35 minutes. I'm like kind of stressed about this recipe because it's so foreign to me. I've eaten it like twice and I've liked it both times, but I've never cooked it. It wasn't a staple of my childhood or anything. I grew up in the North and they didn't really make this a lot. So let's get started by looking at the ingredients. It says you're gonna need vegetable oil, which I have, bay leaves, thyme leaves, whipping cream, no, that doesn't seem right. Heavy cream, but I have whipping cream. I think, is that the same thing? I think that's the same thing. Frozen peas, a carrot, some chicken breast that we're gonna cut up. Parsley is gonna go in there, onion, garlic, unsalted butter, flour is over here, and chicken broth. So that's all our ingredients. And anytime I try a new recipe, I always feel like the best thing to do is start off by just preparing all the ingredients, like measuring wise, all that stuff. So I think that's where we should start today. We should look down the list, figure out what we need, and get it ready. I know one of the things we need is this chicken. We need it cubed up, right, in little cubes. So we'll do that first. I've had people tell me that you're not supposed to cut chicken on a wooden cutting board. So I've always been really careful about it, but recently I've heard that's not really a concern. So I'm curious what you guys think. Is that actually an issue? Is it actually dangerous to cut it on a wooden cutting board? How much chicken does it call for? It calls for 2 pounds, and this is 2.3 pounds. So we're gonna use almost this whole package of chicken breast. And like I said, to start it off, we're just literally gonna chop this into cubes of chicken. And that's gonna be the chicken part of the chicken and dumplings. Look at this, it's like bloody, ugh, gross. Do you cut that away? I'm gonna cut that away. That's grossing me out. Is that really blood? Is that what that is? Look at that. There's more of it. This has started off very violent. Take out that and then cube it up. Now, as far as the size of the cubes, I don't know. The picture, they look like fairly decent chunks of chicken, like not tiny. So we're not gonna make them tiny. We're gonna make them this size. I think you're supposed to cut away this like cartilage stuff too. I don't think that's gonna be good eating. So I'm gonna get rid of that as well. Yeah, chicken and dumplings. I had it recently, this summer actually I had it, and I liked it. And I said, oh, one of these days I gotta try cooking it. Someone had recommended it in my comments and I was like, all right, I'm gonna finally do this. But I'll tell you what, it's daunting. I'm nervous about it. A lot of times I cook stuff that I've cooked some form of in the past, right? I did my Chex Mix video, that I've had before. I did mac and cheese. Obviously I've cooked mac and cheese before. Now maybe not the same exact recipe, but some form of mac and cheese has been cooked by me before. Whereas I've never cooked any form of chicken and dumplings. So who knows? Might be amazing, might be terrible. If it's terrible, we'll blame Canada. Sorry, Canada. It's not really your fault. Gotta blame someone though. Okay, so anyways, we're cutting up this chicken into cubes and we're gonna see how it comes out. Now, chicken is a sketchy meat, I get nervous when I cook it because I don't wanna make anyone sick. So I'm usually overly careful with how long I cook it. And maybe I sometimes dry it out even, which is bad, but better safe than sorry, I guess. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. But since this is in a soup, basically, I think it'd be pretty good no matter what we do, hopefully. I'm saying hopefully a lot because, like I said, I'm nervous on this one. I feel like it would be so easy for the dumpling aspect to go wrong. Right, that was a horrible way to cut that, by the way. And actually, I only need 2 pounds, so I'm gonna get that over there. I just feel like the dumplings are gonna get like soggy or gross or be doughy or something like that. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It could be amazing. You never know. I could be a pro chicken and dumplings maker. So there's my chicken all cut up. Let me clean up and I'll be back. Okay, so we're gonna set the chicken aside and we're gonna work on the next thing. And that's gonna be our vegetables. And I'll tell you, the way you cut vegetables, the speed, look at this knife. The speed at which you cut vegetables really makes a difference in how long it takes you to cook. And I am not the fastest vegetable cutter, but I'm also not the slowest. All right, so the first thing we need to do is dice an onion. So we're just gonna do that real quick. I'm gonna cut the onion in half. Like I said, I'm not the fastest veggie cutter, but I have seen people slower. And it can make a huge difference in how long it takes you to cook based on how long it takes you to cut the veggies. I've seen these pros do it in like 10 seconds. I'm not that quick. It still takes me a couple minutes, but. And I did a yellow onion. That's what the recipe calls for. And that is why I did it. What am I saying? Going a little further. There's all these skills that I don't have. It's sad. And you know, I think I forgot along the way that this thing where you like do this, I always thought it was like one cut and then two, but now I think it's like three. Oh well, I'm gonna do it this way because I can't remember how to do it. I need to watch like another video or something on YouTube of how to cut onions quickly. So these are gonna be cooked almost first, I think. Generally with this sort of thing, you cook the onions first. I'm trying to think. I think it's literally 2 times in my life I've had chicken and dumplings. Just 2 times. Once was this summer. All right, so this onion has almost been annihilated. Takes a minute, put it all together. I mean, it's shameful really the way I slice an onion. So I'm living in Florida now and we have a hurricane coming. It should be interesting. I don't think well, maybe I've been through one hurricane when I lived in North Carolina, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Thinking about that because I'm supposed to go get sandbags today and I don't think I'm gonna have time because I'm cooking. Oh well, I can get them tomorrow hopefully, or not. All right, there, it's diced, whatever. I'm gonna put it in a bowl or something. All right, so we got our chicken and our onion done. Let me clean up. Up next, we need a sliced carrot. What does that mean? I don't know, it's not that clear. I'm not really sure what I need to do to this carrot, so I'm just gonna make it smaller and see how it goes. And I'll just do like this, I guess. I mean, you figure you're gonna wanna be able to eat them easily, so the smaller the better. And it says I need a cup worth, which I'm just gonna cut 1 carrot. That should be pretty close to a cup, I think. And I would call this a slicing motion, so I think we're on the right track here. I might even make some of these bigger ones smaller. Because again, I don't know what sliced is. You guys tell me what sliced is. You guys always tell me the things I'm screwing up, so make sure you let me know what I've screwed up here, because I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. That's more like chopped carrots, whatever. That's good. We're gonna stop there and we'll set those aside as well. Has it been driving you nuts that I didn't close that? Definitely drives my wife nuts when I do that. Don't feel bad, you're not alone. All right, so we got our diced, sliced carrots. Now we need 3 minced cloves of garlic, and I've got my garlic here. I don't know, I don't like this. I usually don't buy this bag, but I did this order like delivery by Walmart, and that's how they delivered it, so. I don't know, I was looking at videos that recommend my video, and it seems like a lot of the videos that recommend my video are like homesteading. So that's kind of interesting. I could get on board with homesteading one day. I like the idea of it. Am I too addicted to modern conveniences? Maybe, but I could probably get past it. Homesteading is like where you live off the land and stuff like that, so. The one that is like recommending me the most is something called Acre Homestead. So if you watch Acre Homestead, let me know in the comments. I'm curious if you've seen me from that. Okay, let me dice up this garlic into little bits. Little tiny bits of garlic. And that's 3 cloves. I mean, you could probably do more of any of these ingredients or less, depending on your preference, your taste preference. I know my cutting board is like a mess. I should have cleaned it off before each new ingredient, but I didn't because I'm a slacker. Total slacker. Do you like how festive it is in here? I've got my Halloween thing up and you know, my harvest festival stuff. I don't know, a little cheesy. I mean, for all I know, I'll publish this after Halloween, depending on when I edited it. Okay, so we got garlic as well. All right, up next, let me move all this junk over. And we gotta dice some parsley next. 4 tablespoons of parsley. Let me rinse it really quick. I'm a little concerned because, like I said, I ordered this on Walmart and it looks like they gave me Italian parsley, not normal parsley. Do you think there's a difference in the flavor? I mean, normal parsley tastes like almost nothing. So hopefully this doesn't taste like a pizza or something, because that could really interfere with the flavor of the chicken and dumplings. It smells like parsley though, like just straight up parsley, which is that like kind of dirt aroma. Ooh, it's pretty intense. It might be more intense than normal parsley, this Italian stuff. You think that's about 4 tablespoons? I think it is. There's 4 tablespoons of some sort of parsley. And I think that's it for the vegetables. So I did read through this recipe and it seems like you do need to make a roux. And roux can be tricky. It's like where you do the flour. I don't really know. There's like some sort of thickening thing. But hopefully it goes well. Let me clean this all up. This is a huge mess. Okay, so since there's a roux involved and I'm very picky about like not screwing up a roux, I want to get everything measured first. So I'm going to measure out every other ingredient really quick. It's not gonna take long. Teaspoon of salt. Let me get my teaspoons. I didn't even have my salt out. I didn't even list that in my ingredients. But anyways, a teaspoon of salt. I'm trying to think of a good way to do this to not like waste a bunch of dishes. So here's my teaspoon of salt. Let's see what's next. 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. So that's this right here. And on your butter, I mean, guys, you're all better cooks than me. I don't know why I try to teach you stuff, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tablespoons of unsalted butter. So that's ready. 6 tablespoons of flour, okay. This is kind of an insane way to cook. No one cooks like this probably but me. Measuring everything out before you even like start cooking, but I like to do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 tablespoons of flour. Perfect. 6 cups of chicken broth. So I have this big mega one. Actually, that's just gonna be both of these. 4 cups, 2 cups. So we'll just do it that way. And this is chicken broth here, so just fill this one up. It looks like 4 cups might be a whole thing. Yeah, there you go. That helped you out. That's 4 cups in there. And then this will be the other 2 cups. Actually, in the really fancy cooking videos, they measure before they ever even start recording. So there you go, 6 cups of that. Now I just got some chicken broth into my flour. So I'm gonna just take that out and maybe add a little more flour, just a pinch because that's how much I lost. There we go. Science. What a mess I'm working in. Put this over here in my giant pile of stuff, my flour, half a cup of heavy cream. Here's my heavy cream. We'll do half a cup of that. Where's the half cup measure? Okay, that's pretty small. Right there, half a cup of heavy cream. Anything else? Half a teaspoon of dried thyme. Such a crazy person. Let me show you, hold on, look at all these ingredients set out like a madman. Yep. But listen, it's gonna be good. This way I won't mess it up if I've got everything ready. Okay, where was I at? The thyme, half a teaspoon. Okay, so here's my thyme leaves. Oh, it's not even open, it's brand new sealed, brand new in box. Half a teaspoon of thyme, put that with the salt here. 2 bay leaves, that's easy. I don't think I can mess that one up because they're full on leaves. Look at that, 1, 2. Ooh, that smells weird. Ugh. And then the frozen peas is 1.5 cups. How many cups are in here? There you go, 1.5 cups of frozen peas. And then we will be all measured out, I think. Boom, boom guys, boom. 1.5 cups of peas. And then we got some veggie oil, but that's gonna go in the pot in a minute. My dog's behind me. Okay, we got all the ingredients. We're gonna move over to the stove and get started. All right, so I'm at the stove and we've got the 6-quart Dutch oven. Actually don't know if it's 6 quarts, but I'm hoping it's a 6-quart Dutch oven on the stove, the heat on medium high, and we're gonna add a little veggie oil. It says 2 tablespoons. I'm just gonna eyeball it and hopefully get it pretty close to correct. And we're gonna put the heat on medium high, like I said. Our next step is to add the chicken. So we're gonna let this get hot and then we're gonna add the chicken. All right, so now that we've got that heated up, we're gonna add the chicken to it. I've got this bowl full of chicken cubes that we cut up and I'm just gonna dump it in there. You can hear that nice sizzle, meaning the oil's hot. And what we wanna do is we wanna brown up the chicken. Well, we wanna cook it really. So, we're gonna let that roll for a couple minutes and basically what's gonna happen is once the chicken is cooked through, we'll take it out while we cook some veggies. So, let's let this happen. We don't really want the chicken to stick to the bottom too much, although it is trying to. I mean, the chicken's not really browning either. It said to brown it. It's not really turning brown in any way, shape, or form. So that's interesting. I do have this handy dandy thermometer, and so I can just check the internal temp of the chicken. So this piece is 163, this piece is 165. So the chicken's really close, I think. 140, 152, that one's not done yet. I think we're real close on this chicken, probably another 2 minutes, if that. Move it around a little bit. Now there's some bigger pieces. That's probably where I should be checking the temp, is on the big pieces like this one. 140, yeah, that has a ways to go. So my chicken is at the temperature it needs to be. It's all at 165. So I'm gonna pull it off the stove and put it on a plate here. There we go. So as you can see, I've got it all on a plate and we'll set that aside and move on to the next step. Now this does look right. I'm happy with how that looks. We're now gonna add the carrot and onion and cook that. So as you know, we already have that prepared, so just add that in, onions, carrots, and we'll just stir that around a little bit, and it'll pick up some of that chicken flavoring from the bottom, which will be a good thing, not a bad thing. Okay, and I might turn the heat down a hair, maybe not. So it says to cook the onion and the carrots for 3 minutes and then to add the garlic after that. So I'm gonna go get the garlic. Here's my garlic. This will get added in like 2.5 more minutes. I want these onions to tender up a little. A lot of steam in here. Smells really good though, nice and fragrant. Yeah, smells delicious. And then I'm gonna read ahead on the steps to see what we have to do next. Okay, so once these have been in there for 3 minutes and they're feeling tender, we're gonna add that garlic for 1 minute until it's tender and fragrant. Maybe not tender, but fragrant. And then once that's done, what we'll do is we'll lower the heat. So get ready to lower the heat after the garlic. Yeah, that's softening up nicely. Probably another 60 seconds. All right, so the onions are nice and tender. We're gonna add the garlic now, and we're gonna cook the garlic for about 60 seconds. All right, so now that that is cooked for a little bit, I'm going to lower the heat to medium low. So that's quite a bit cooler. And at this point, we're gonna add the butter and the flour. So let me grab the butter. Here's our butter. And we'll just add that in. Boom, like that. I'm gonna stir that around a little bit. Trying not to let it stick to the bottom or burn at the bottom too much, but I don't know, doing the best I can. It didn't say melted butter, so we'll add the flour now too. And hopefully this turns into I've never done this before, guys. This could be a complete and utter fail. But you know what? It'll be entertaining for you to watch me fail, all right? It's all sticking to the bottom, which seems like a bad sign. Well, let's just stir it up and see what happens. I know people say you shouldn't use a metal utensil if you're cooking with like a Teflon pan, but I don't think this is Teflon. This is some sort of enamel. I don't know. Everything's sticking to the bottom, but I feel like it'll come out, you know, once we're done with this. So it says my camera just died, but I can still, you know, talk you through it on this camera. It says to cook this for 3 minutes without letting lumps form, but there's no like liquid. So I'm a little confused. I don't know. I don't really know, guys. I'm trying, but it doesn't seem quite right so far. It says don't let lumps form, but like the whole thing is lumps. So it says to add the chicken back. It's been a couple minutes. It says 3 minutes. Add the chicken and its juices back. So that's what we're gonna do now. I feel like we need some juices in there, so I think it's a good addition. And yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. I'm not super confident at this point. That seemed wrong. Okay, so I think maybe what happened was it was too hot and I didn't turn it to medium low soon enough, and then everything, the butter basically evaporated. I don't know. The next step, now that we're here, is to add the chicken broth. So we're gonna take our 6 cups of chicken broth and add them to the mixture here, like so. And we'll stir it up a little bit, and then we're gonna add the cream after that, the heavy cream, like so. We'll stir that as well. All right, I mean, the consistency looks good. I'm just really quite concerned that it's not gonna like be the right consistency. The color looks nice, but I don't know if the consistency is gonna be right. Okay, it says we're also supposed to add the thyme and the bay leaves. So here's the bay leaf 1, bay leaf 2, and our thyme that we had from earlier. We don't actually want the salt in there, I guess. I thought maybe it would go in here, but I guess not. Kind of doing it without getting the salt in there. And we want to bring it to a simmer, so I'm actually gonna have to turn the heat back up now and stir it up a little, and then we'll bring it up to a simmer. Probably need it to be like medium high-ish would be my guess. Okay. I mean, it's looking all right. It's looking all right, not terrible. Once the soup is at a simmer, we're gonna add our frozen peas and put the lid on. Where's my lid? Okay, so I'm letting the simmer come to this mixture we made earlier, right? We're letting it simmer. It's not simmering yet. I've got the temp at like medium. It's been like 3 minutes. I'm gonna let it come up to a simmer, then we have a step after that. Now, I didn't realize this when we were prepping all the other ingredients, but there's a whole separate little recipe at the bottom for the dumplings. So we have to get those ingredients ready now too. So I've got this glass bowl and we're gonna put the first ingredient in there. And for the dumplings, that first ingredient is flour. We're gonna need 2 cups of flour to make the dumplings. 1 and 2. So that's the first step for the dumplings, is 2 cups of flour into a bowl. We then need to put in 1 tablespoon of baking powder, which is a lot of baking powder, I'll be honest. Full tablespoon worth into there. And then we need to add our salt. We're gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Is this the salt we measured earlier? No, it's not. So since this isn't the salt we measured earlier, that makes me think that other salt must need to go in the mix. Yeah, in the mix with the soup stuff. So I just added that 1 teaspoon of salt we measured earlier into the liquid mix here on the stove. Now it's simmering. The next step on that is to add the peas. I had actually put the peas back in the freezer. So we're gonna add those to there. We're gonna put the lid on. I know you're not seeing this probably, right? But you get the idea. It's that thing. Put the peas in, put the lid on. We're gonna set a timer for 15 minutes on that. Timer 1500. Now we can go back to the dumplings. So we already added the baking powder, the flour. Now we need a ½ teaspoon of salt. Now, remember earlier I forgot to add the salt to the soup, so I've now added that as well. Although I honestly think the instructions were missing that step. I don't remember seeing it. We're also gonna put a ½ teaspoon of pepper in the dough mix. This is for the dumpling aspect. And if you hear music, that's my daughter practicing her recorder for school. So hopefully it's not too loud. Okay, so we've got all those dry ingredients. The next step is to add 1 1/3 cup of that heavy cream from earlier into this dumpling mix. Okay, so we're gonna add 1 1/3 cup of heavy cream, and hopefully this is the right kind of cream. There's 1/3 cup. Here's a cup, that. And then we're gonna stir it, 1 1/3 cup. We're gonna stir it till it forms a dough, and hopefully it forms a dough. I've never done this before. I've never made chicken and dumplings. I've never made the dumplings. So hopefully this hardens up. And it looks like it is. Into 1 ball of dough, it says. So we're trying to turn this into a big ball of dough. And we're not talking money dough, although that would be cool if we turned it into money dough. Hey, maybe if I cook it good enough, we can sell it, and then it's money dough. All right, I'm gonna transition to my hands here because it's kind of hardening up. Okay, there's our mega dumpling. I don't think we wanna knead it too much. Doesn't say to. It then says take a spoon or ice cream scoop to form your actual dumplings. And I do have an ice cream scoop, but I feel like that's gonna be too big, so. But basically you just wanna make balls. These will be your dumpling balls and set them aside. I'm just gonna do it with my hand, I'll be honest. I think they want you to use a spoon to make sure they're all even. Come on, how many cookies have I made? I know how to make it even-ish. Even-ish being the operative word here. Okay, there's another ball. These are our dumplings, guys. I don't know, it seems like it's working. I'm like a little nervous still, but hopefully it's okay. My dad's here, he got here early. Sees me cooking on camera like some sort of psychopath. But it's okay. I mean, how circular do they need to be? Do they need to be like all beautiful? Probably. Be nice if they looked good. Presentation and all that. Okay, a couple more, okay, and 1 more. Boom. Okay, here is my dumplings. Here are my dumplings. I mean, some are bigger than the others, but pretty good, right? Let's set this aside. My soup was kind of boiling over and it's only supposed to be simmering, so I'm gonna lower my heat back down. Don't want that to overcook. I have made a lot of dishes, that's for sure. All right, so we're back. It's been 15 minutes that this has been simmering and it's, you know, still simmering. So it's looking pretty good. We've got our dumplings ready, and the next step is going to be to add the dumplings into this. And let's see, is the chicken, you know, the last time I had this, the chicken was like stringy, but this is like cubes of chicken, so it's a little different. But it says to add the dumplings and don't let them touch. So how do I do that without like burning myself? Oh, there you go. You can still see them after you add them. 2, 3, 4, it's sitting on some chicken. 5, 6, 7, 8. How are they not gonna touch? 9, okay. 10 and 11. Hopefully they're not, this one's sort of touching. So I'm gonna move it over. And we're also supposed to add the parsley at this point. Maybe I'll submerge them all, just make sure they all get covered in the flavor. There we go. And then we add the parsley, which hopefully is the right kind of parsley. And then we cover it back up. Cover it back up for another 15 minutes or until the dumplings are done. We'll be back. Hopefully you're ready to eat this chicken and dumpling. Okay, 15 more minutes has passed. We're now gonna take a look at these dumplings and see if they look done. Holy cow. What happened? They grew, guys. They grew. What in the world? Oh boy. They do look cooked through though, right? They look cooked through. They're just enormous. Oh my gosh. I had no clue they'd get this big. Well, that's just ridiculous. Well, let's take a picture of that. It's kind of funny. I don't know, what do you think? Is that the world's best chicken and dumplings? We're gonna find out. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a bowl and we're gonna spoon some in there. I can't believe how big that dumpling got. That is comical. That was not the plan at all. So we're gonna take that one I destroyed, put it in this bowl. We're gonna try to get some chicken in there. If I can even get to the chicken underneath all the dumpling. There we go. Oh, you know what I forgot to do, guys? This was one of the steps, was to remove the bay leaves. Here's one, halfway there. I wonder if I can find the other bay leaf. Not really supposed to eat a bay leaf whole, I don't think. All right, well, whatever. We're gonna get a spoon and we're gonna try this and see how it is. I'm a little nervous, but hold on. So hot. Way too hot. Okay, so it's really hot. I can't really even say I got to taste it per se, but here it is in a bowl. The dumplings became enormous, but it's all right. I'm gonna get another spoonful here and maybe a smaller bit of dumpling and blow on it a little. Oh, it's still so hot. It's not edible yet, is the problem. All right, now we're gonna try this. We're about to find out if it's any good. It's like I'm being tortured. It's so hot. Okay, now I've only had chicken and dumplings twice. This is my third time, so I can't really say I'm qualified to say if it's the world's best or not, but it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I don't think anything like went horribly wrong as far as texture, consistency, stuff like that. Let me taste the actual soup portion again. Yeah, soup's really good. Two things I would change. One, I would make smaller chunks of chicken. The chunks are a little too big, hard to get in your mouth. And I'd make smaller dumplings because really everything is just far too big to fit. So it's hard to get a taste of everything at once. But yeah, overall it's very good. Not the best dumplings I've ever had, but I had these really good ones this summer from like this lady who used to sell them. And so those are probably the best ones I've ever had, but these are probably the second best out of the 3 times I've had it. Give it like a 7.5 out of 10. Not blowing my mind, but pretty good. If you guys like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and tune in next time for more world's best recipes.